Hello and welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are so inclined. In today's video, we've got another headset deathmatch. We've got this from Razer, the BLACKSHARK V2 Pro wireless esports headset, and that's facing off against this from SteelSeries, the Arctis 9 wireless. Let's see which is best. Comfort. Let's start with the Razer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this thing is very, very light, coming in at around 330 grams, and it is remarkably comfortable. There's no getting away from that. You don't really feel like you're wearing anything on your head, and where your ear does go on the inside of the ear cup, you can feel that padding, and it's just very nice and cushioned, and you don't get any sort of fatigue whilst wearing this. You don't take it off at the end of your session doing this. You don't need to. The headset itself just sits comfortably. Now, the clamping force is, I'd say, light to medium. There's nothing forceful around this, and it doesn't clamp against your head like a claw. It's just very, very comfortable. Now, in terms of the SteelSeries headset, now I have mentioned the differences in design, especially with this having the ski goggle design, which does contour around the top of your head, which is very, very comfortable. The only difference in terms of comfort between the two outright would be the lack of padding on the inside of the ear cup. You do feel your ear pressing against this. However, then there's other things to be said for wearing this around your neck, just having the comfort and ability to walk around without having this headset propping you up like it does with the Razer headset. Now, it's a very difficult one to call. They both, although this is a heavier headset, you don't feel that weight due to the ski goggle strap suspending it nicely from your head. But on these, you don't get any of that horrible feeling on your ear whilst wearing them, but you can't wear them around your neck. To me, I've got to say, I think this is a draw, just because although that's probably more comfortable to wear in the long term because of your ears, this you can't feel on your head, and you can do this, which kind of calls it for me. This is comfier to wear when you're not necessarily gaming, when you're doing other things. But there we are. Comfort. A draw.
As you can hear, this has a very distinct SteelSeries tone to it. Now, they do advertise on the box that this is airport grade. Now, we don't want microphones on our headsets that sound like anything from an airport. I get that it's more precise, and I get you can hear what I say, but if anybody wanted to stream with this, instead of just using a microphone that's separate, this wouldn't necessarily be ideal. But in terms of just chatting with your friends on Discord or whatever, this is fine. It is fine, but that's it. It's just simply fine. There's nothing out of this world about the microphone. There's nothing that blows your mind. There's nothing that screams next gen. So here it is. Judge for yourself what you think of the Arctis 9 wireless mic. So this is the microphone from the BLACKSHARK V2 Pro. Now, as you can already hear, I'm sure, there's definitely more bass to this. There's definitely more of that low-range response that you get from this microphone, unlike on the Arctis 9, which sounds very airport-esque, which is kind of the sound they were going for whatever reason. I just like this one. I mean, I'm sure you can hear it. There's just more bass. It's more natural. It's more real. So on that tone alone, I definitely prefer the microphone on the V2 Pro. I really do. I think this definitely wins this test hands down. It's closer to the new generation of things, as opposed to the Arctis 9, which is definitely stuck in last generation. But there we are. I kind of like this mic. So there we go. Razer takes it for the mic test. For the audio test, I thought we'd start with the SteelSeries Arctis 9. Now, this thing is sporting 40mm drivers and has the standard frequency response range of 20 to 20,000 Hz. Now, SteelSeries call this their signature sound. Now, that basically means the audio is very immediate, very sudden and very precise, but that can sometimes leave it feeling like it's lacking in the low end, like it's missing those bassier tones, and it can leave your ears quite fatigued at times after spending a lot of time with this. But that's not to take away from the fact that the 7.1 is pretty good, and like I said, the audio is very precise and sometimes good for FPS. I don't want to say that the audio on these are bad, because it's not at all, and like I say, with the precision, it is very good, and the 7.1 works remarkably well with it, but like I said, it can leave my ears feeling fatigued, and there's a very distinct lack of bass. Now on to the Razer BLACKSHARK V2 Pro wireless esports headset. Now, these things are sporting 50mm titanium coated drivers, because apparently that makes it better, but they do have a different frequency response range of between 12 and 28,000 Hz, so more fidelity, I'm sure they'll say. Now, the Triforce drivers on these, Razer say, are very good at separating the audio between the mid, treble and bass, and they're not necessarily wrong. There is good separation of the audio, but lacks that precision of the Arctis 9. However, the audio on these is much richer, much fuller, and has more at the low end. Now audio is very subjective, and for me I prefer richer sounding audio, so I do give this round to the Razer headset. However, like I say, audio is very subjective. The 7.1 on these is pretty much the same in terms of accuracy as the Arctis 9, but I just feel that the richer audio from the Razer headset is definitely a winner for me.
Style, design and build quality. Now we'll start with the Razer headset, and the first thing you feel when you pick this up is just how light it actually is. Now it does come in at around 330 grams, well 326 to be precise, but it feels lighter than that, maybe something to do with the construction. Now we'll start at the top. Now the first thing to point out, you may be able to see that on the camera, the Razer logo is embossed into this wonderful leatherette, and it makes it feel very plush and very posh. And on the inside of the headband you've got this sort of air material, sort of airflow material on the inside, and there's about 1 centimetre of padding or ½ an inch, but it is very nice and it is very comfortable on the top of the head, and there is no point loading, although it does use this traditional style design. Now the headband itself is very strong and very sturdy. You can flex this around pretty much anywhere and it just snaps back to place, which is very good. Now moving down from the headband itself, the first thing to point out would be these spindly kind of arms that reach down and hold the ear cup in place. Now there is an advantage to these. It does keep the weight of the headset down quite a lot, and they are very strong, they are durable. It feels like they're made from steel. Now the disadvantage of having these as the arms to keep that weight down is you can't turn the ear cups to face your body when you're wearing it around your neck, so you feel very bulky and uncomfortable with it. But like I say, it does keep the weight down. Now, on the ear cup themselves, you can see the housing. This plastic housing follows spindle arms themselves. Now these just hold the ear cup in place using friction, which is good. It reduces the amount of movable parts on the actual headset itself, so there is less to break. However, as the temperature changes, these do slide up and down with varying degrees of force. That's not to say that it would sort of start sagging down on your head. I've not experienced that myself, but it is a possibility. Now, the wire that connects these I do like. I like this little bit of retro styling where the wire is exposed to the headset itself, but it does get kind of taut as the ear cup moves in, because although they don't move from side to side, they do have some flex there to contour to your head, I suppose we'll call it. Now the ear cups are oval shaped, which is good. Round ear cups, definitely not comfortable at all. And the actual ear cups themselves, or the padding, sorry, is replaceable. You just take these off and you can just replace them with whatever. However, the ones that are on here already are very nice. They're about 1 inch thick and the material is very plush. And on the inside, over the driver housing, there is also padding in there, which is nice. If your ear does get trapped within the headset itself, which, let's be honest, it happens quite a lot, you don't feel any discomfort from it. It just feels nice and cushioned, I would say, which is probably the point from Razer, so kudos to that. Now the microphone we should speak about, because look at the actual size of this thing. It's massive. Now this is a super clear hypercardioid mic, what Razer call it. Now that is a good name for a microphone, I'll give you that, but it is massive, absolutely massive. Now in terms of the controls on the headset, all of the controls go down on the left ear cup, which is good. I've said it before, it keeps your trigger finger free. Now the first thing to go over is this massive volume knob on the side. Now I don't dislike this. It's not necessarily an aesthetically pleasing feature, however, it's easy to get to if you need to adjust the volume. Just on the side or the underside of the ear cup themselves, you've got your power button, nice and easy to explain. Then you've got your mute button. If it's depressed or if it's out, it's not muted. If it's in, it is. However, there is no mute light at the end of this microphone because of this whacking great pop filter to cover it over. But it is kind of nice, and I don't dislike removable microphones. It means you can get a replacement should it break, which is always a good thing. And like I said, there's nothing on the other ear cup. But in terms of the style, I kind of like it. I like the retro look. I think they've done it very well in keeping the weight down. It helps it maintain its comfort, and it is a remarkably comfy headset. I do like this. I do like this. But let's take a look at the Arctis 9. Now, unlike the BLACKSHARK V2 Pro, when you pick this headset up, it feels quite a bit heavier. However, it does come in at 379 grams on my scale, which is only 50 grams more, but it feels heavier, which is probably to do with what this headband is made from. Now, if we move back the actual strap for your head, it exposes this whacking great piece of steel. Now, you can't question the durability of this massive piece of steel because it is a massive piece of steel. I do like the design of this. I like that the strap is replaceable. I should also mention that. Now the strap itself, the way this works on the ski goggle design as they call it, as you put this over your head, the actual ear cups themselves are suspended. It's more of a suspension strap than anything else, and it adjusts to every single contour of your head, so there is zero point loading, which is very, very good, and they do feel remarkably durable. Now just to the bottom of the headband itself, we do lose the steel at that point, and we do get into the realms of the SteelSeries plastic. Now, as you can hear, it is kind of a tough plastic, and I don't consider these to be something that will break. I've seen 0 reports of this hinge itself breaking. Now you can't move the ear cup up and down. That's what this strap is for. You simply adjust it to put the ear cups in the right place at the side of your head. Now, this does look weak, however the hinge is not. You can flex these ear cups everywhere. Unlike the Razer headset, you can turn this so it is down flat against your chest as opposed to up and bulking around your neck, which is again a very good feature, and these are remarkably flexible. Now in terms of this test, you're definitely not going to break the headband. Like I said, it's solid, absolutely rock solid. The shape of the ear cups of these, just like the Razer, is an oval shape, which is very good, and the padding around the ear cups, again, much like the Razer, is using this airflow material, and they are replaceable, much like the Razer. However, on the inside, over the driver housing, there is no padding whatsoever, so if any of your ear gets on the inside of this, you can feel it pressed up against there, and it does become a little irritating over time. However, the actual suspension strap around the head makes this remarkably comfortable. Now, on the ear cup themselves, in terms of control, unlike Razer, all of the controls for this are on the right ear, so you can keep moving, but you don't have your trigger finger free, which is not necessarily for me, but that's subjective. It depends on what style of gamer you are and what games you play. Now looking at the controls, there is definitely a lot more on this headset for various reasons. Now we have the volume control on the side in the standard place. Now there's very limited travel to this, so being accurate with the volume level isn't that simple. It isn't that simple at all. And again, we have a depressed mute switch. Now when this is out, it's muted. When it's in, it's on, unlike the Razer. So there is a bit of difference just there. Now here we get to something where it gets a bit interesting. We have 2 buttons. We have the power switch, and we also have the Bluetooth switch, which we'll come on to later in the video. Next to that, we have the micro USB. I didn't mention on the Razer, it's also micro USB port for charging and does have an auxiliary port if you just want to wire this in. But there we are. The 2 headsets are a very good style. I like the differences. We've gone for the classic design with the Razer headset, which under the rattle test does pretty well. There's not a great deal of rattle there. And then we've got the new ski goggle-esque design / suspension design of the Arctis, and when we wobble this, very, very little rattle, which is always a good sign of high build quality. Now, it's difficult to decide between the two, if I'm perfectly honest. In terms of style, design and build quality, I would say these two are on an even keel, which is what you expect for headsets that are around the same price. But both very well made, both very well put together, and I consider both to be really quite durable headsets. Features and accessories. Well, let's start with the Razer headset, and we'll start with this carry case, which doesn't really feel as much as a carry case as it does just a dust protector. The material is very, very thin. Now, I have said in previous videos that this doesn't have Razer's logo on it anywhere. However, a viewer pointed out to me it does. It's down here, and it's just embossed in black on this black material. Now, I'm sure the bright green Razer tassels give it away that it is in fact Razer, but it is a nice little thing to have. I've never actually used it and probably never will. Anyway, moving on, we've got this. The wireless receiver, 2.4 GHz wireless to be precise. Now it does come with this little protective hood over it, which reveals the Razer green block on the inside of the actual USB itself. Now this is kind of a cool little thing. It looks very nice, it feels very solid, and it takes up very little room when you plug it into your PC, so lovely and convenient. We've then got this, the micro USB charging / firmware update cable. Now again, this does have protective HUDs and the Razer green block. Now the cable itself is braided, which is a very nice touch. It does feel very expensive, which is always good. And then we've got this, the 3.5mm AUX cable. Now this is 4-pole, so it is up and down. You can use this, and you can use the headset itself on an Xbox, but you have to use this cable and plug it into the pad. But moving on to the Arctis 9. Now, this thing comes with much less stuff. Right off the bat, we've got this, which I call the wire that's required for wireless, which it is. It is in fact the dongle itself. You just simply plug in to USB, and then you've got this. Now, on the back of this is how you select between whether or not you're playing on PlayStation, which again, this is compatible with PlayStation 4 and 5. We'll come on to that shortly. You can just Switch between the two, nice and easy. You have a slider for PC and a slider for PlayStation. You simply move between the two. You also have a connect button if you need to resync the headset, which is remarkably easy. You just hold it down and done. Very, very simple. Now, another feature to this little dongle of joy is you have a line out feature. Now this means if you're gaming and for whatever reason your headset dies, there's no charge to it. Instantly the audio will come through your desktop speakers should you have them wired into this, which is a cool feature to have. It very much is. And you also have another input, so you can get another audio source into the headset itself, which is also very, very good. The wire, however, is definitely not braided. It's a rubberized material, and you can tell it's quite tangly, and it just doesn't feel, it doesn't have the same presence as these cables. The same can be said for the micro USB charging / firmware update cable. Again, nice and basic. It's all the same sort of stuff, but it's not braided. And it's not Type-C, which is annoying. I'd sooner take a rubberized cable that's Type-C than a braided cable that's not, to be honest. However, that's not where the feature set of the actual Arctis 9 ends. On the ear cup itself, you do in fact have a Bluetooth button there, because this does connect to Bluetooth as well as the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, which is great. If you need to connect this to your phone, you can. So that's all very cool. And on the headset itself, again, and I should mention this, unlike the Razer, there is a chat to game mixer, and it is on the left ear cup to keep that trigger finger nice and free should you need to drown the noise of your friends laughing at you out. But there we are. I think in terms of accessories and features, for me, I think the Arctis takes it just because it does have that Bluetooth and it does have the chat to game mixer, whereas this, yes, it has a carry case that you'll never use, and yes, the cables are nicer. However, they're less useful than this. This has function, many functions to it. And the chat to game mixer, again, absolutely fantastic, and you can connect on Bluetooth, which again should be a feature, and it really is. But in terms of overall features, the Arctis 9 takes it for me. Compatibility. Now let's start with the Razer headset itself. We always go with what it says on the box first and foremost, and this says that it's compatible with PC, Mac, PlayStation 4, and indeed the 5, it's been tested, and the Nintendo Switch when it's docked, I would suspect for that, which is all very lovely. Now on the SteelSeries box, however, it only says PC and PlayStation, but with this having Bluetooth connectivity, I know that it connects to my mobile phone because I've tried it and used it, and it's all very good. Now pretty much any device that offers Bluetooth connectivity, this will work with. So if you have a Mac with Bluetooth, it probably will work. I wouldn't recommend it for gaming in any capacity, however. Bluetooth audio, there is a bit of lag to it, mostly not noticeable when you're actively gaming, especially on FPS, you would notice that. But the sheer array of devices that offer Bluetooth connectivity would definitely imply that connectivity and compatibility will go with the Arctis 9 for the sheer plethora of devices that can connect via Bluetooth. But there we are, the Arctis 9 takes it. So in conclusion, all of the rounds have pointed to a draw for this. However, that being said, I have both of these headsets and I choose to use this over this. Now, that's simply because I don't require Bluetooth connectivity. I suppose the way to distinguish this draw between two separate winners would be if you require Bluetooth connectivity. Then of the two, I'd definitely go for this, the Arctis 9 Wireless. The plethora of devices that you can connect this to is remarkable compared to the Razer. However, if you're getting this headset simply for gaming and you've no interest in having a mobile phone connected to it because it's for gaming, then this is the headset for you of the two, I would say. It's a weird outcome. It is, because the Razer definitely wins in terms of audio and definitely wins in terms of the mic. However, it was a draw with the comfort, and those are the big three things for me, and this will last. However, it doesn't have the same feature set and it doesn't have the same compatibility as the SteelSeries. So, although it is a draw, if you require connectivity, the Arctis 9 for you. If you just want it for gaming, the V2 Pro is for you. So there we have it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I do hope you liked the video. If you watched this far in and you didn't, well, thank you very much, and I'm sorry I couldn't entertain you, but don't forget to like and subscribe, and these two products will be linked below. Now, it is my Amazon affiliate link, so if you do buy any products by using that link, I will get a bit of a kickback from Amazon themselves. I have to declare that to you, but that money will ultimately go back in the channel anyway. I do buy all of these headsets myself to test, but there we are. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, morning, night time, wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.